Hi, everyone. I thought I would take a few minutes to provide a bit more context and details about how I think POLS 3033 is going to unwind this semester. Of course, everything is subject to change, living as we are in 2022, but I thought these few details should help with your planning and my planning for the rest of the semester. So let's get into it. I wanted to touch on a few elements of the class that I've been getting questions about from a few students, and that were the most important for me to be able to nail down before the start of the semester to make sure that you and I are on the same page. We now have over 150 students, I think 156 students as of last check, enrolled in this class. Far larger than any other year that I've taught the class. Started with roughly 40 students and uh, focused on a workshop that was a dialogue between the students and me. Really enjoyed it. But with this number of students, I'm trying to take the elements from the workshop format and to be able to apply it with a larger number of students. It's great to have you all here. The topic matters. I'm glad you all are interested in it, and I want to make sure that you get the most out of these 12 weeks as possible. So I wanted to touch a bit about what the lecture structure is going to be, what the workshop structure I've developed that I think will work given our current reality, how I'm going to try to maximize the options for assessments to be able to tailor the assessments to your semester and to make sure you're taking out as much as possible from the class, and then talk about EAPs and adding another student survey, as well as encouraging you to finish the one that we've already started. So the lecture content, I think for me, the focus is going to be on making the best recorded content as much as possible to try to free up the workshop time to make the workshops as engaging, interactive, and discussion focused as possible. So for the lectures, I'm going to record them and post them on Tuesdays, as well as a curated selection of videos from around the world that touch on these three elements that I try to bring to the class related to the subject matter. The theory and the cutting edge research on the particular topics that we're going to cover, current events, what things are actually happening in the world that relates to the class, because that's the ideal, is that we try to link theory to what's actually going on in the world to help us understand it, and then bring in specific case studies per week to be able to ground the theory into a relevant, influential, or interesting or problematic case study per week, and then try to link it to where that case study is now. So I've been recording these lectures for a few years now. For those of you who have taken my other classes, hopefully you've been able to enjoy them. If you want to get a sense of my process of talking about the topics, you're more than welcome to take a look at the YouTube videos that I posted for the last time I taught this class. That was the first time I was trying recording lectures. I think I'm a bit more polished now, but time will tell. Related to the workshops, I think this is a clear topic that I've wrestled with, and to try to keep my children and myself safe, as well as try to return into some sense of a normal class structure. So I've given a number of different options, and I would encourage you to try to take one that suits you best. With 150 students, hopefully we won't have everyone taking any of these particular options. The last time I taught the class in 2020, it was pretty evenly split between in-person, online, synchronous Zoom classes, and asynchronous students doing the workshop activities on their own time. So right now, I plan on 5 different options for the class. It takes a bit more time and is a bit more disaggregated than I initially planned, but with a large number of students and with the unpredictable nature of where we are right now in 2022, I think this gives both you and I a number of different options to spread those 156 students over a number of different time periods. So I'm giving 2 in-person options. We already have the room booked in Marie Rie 2.02. The capacity is 60 people. We can't have everybody in one period, and if there is 60 people, I'll start turning people away. But given that we have the room from 9 until 12, as well as given the fact that I do have a lot of lecture material and videos that I'll be putting online, I thought an hour and 15 minutes of a workshop would complement the videos that I'll be posting on Tuesday. So the first option is I'll be running a session from 9:20 to 10:35, then another option from 10:45 until noon. Hopefully we'll be able to get a roughly equal number of students in those 2 in-person ones, and I'll be breaking everyone up into different groups by table. So it'll be less having me and 50 or 60 students, but different groups of people all discussing or working on a particular problem, with me being able to float around and then have us come back as a group. Then I'll be having another session Thursdays from 2 until 3:15 on Zoom. For those of you who have said you have class conflicts or Friday mornings don't work for you, this hopefully will give students an opportunity and the flexibility to do a Zoom workshop. I've been running these the last couple of years as well. And then options 4 and 5 I've had in the last couple of years that have worked well, and that I wanted to provide students a flexibility to take if that's of interest. Option 4 is to just do the workshop activities on your own, and option 5 is coordinate either in your real lives or coordinate through a forum that I'll post on Waddle for students who are interested in coordinating, to be able to create your own groups, to either do it in person or Zoom as your own group, complete the activities, and post them on Sunday. I'll be posting all the workshop notes as well as my lecture notes and slides at the same time on Tuesdays, which will give you an idea about what we're going to be doing in the workshop and what would work best for you. I was pleasantly surprised and enjoyed hearing stories of students that were able to organize their own groups, either in on-campus halls or via Zoom for people who are scattered around the world. So hopefully this gives that in-person experience that I think all of us are learning to try to get back to, yearning to get back to, as well as give us the flexibility to be able to do Zoom workshops. Last term, I started in person, live streaming to Zoom for my African politics class that was shut down after a couple weeks with the lockdown. So all of this represents my initial week 1 efforts, and we'll try to get a sense of what you're interested in doing and how we're going to run this. I don't have a teaching assistant. This is all me, and I really think that students benefit from having the lecturer engaging with small student groups directly instead of a teaching assistant that might not be as familiar with the material, because this is quite a specialized topic that touches on a lot of interests that students have, from international relations to the environment to traditional security studies. And so it would be great if I could get a tutor that would be able to cover all the bases, but I think this is the most bang for the buck for your semester. Next, the assessment options. Normally I have one series of assessment options on programs and courses. It gives option 1 as the primary assessment. I want to be clear about what the assessment options are from the beginning, and the goal with this is to try to incorporate what I've learned from teaching the class 4 or 5 times now in the past, as well as try to make sure that you get the most out of the class as possible, having a research product at the end that you're the most proud of. So I've given 4 options. If you have any other ideas, I'd be more than willing to take them on board, but the goal is to systematically engage in the material, to learn about the topics, and then take what you've learned and be able to apply it to a specific topic that's of particular interest to you. So we have participation. Workshop participation is 10% of the mark. A literature review, proposal, and final essay. Those are 3 parts of a larger research process. I'm trying to mimic now with a third year class as much of the research process that we do in the honors degree, in PhDs, as well as what I do day to day as a researcher. You have a particular topic that spurs your interest. You want to do some reading about it. Then you have questions about the reading, a puzzle that doesn't really seem to be answered by the literature, and then you can delve into it with your own research. And so I've broken this up so you have one assessment due in the first half of the class with the literature review, and then get feedback on that, and take that forward into a research proposal, get feedback on that about your ideas and the way you can try to turn it into a solid research paper, and have that final paper due at the end of the term. Given from what I've seen in previous semesters, some students suggested try to merge the literature review and the proposal at the same time. And I thought that was a good idea. And so I'm giving the option number 2, to be able to combine the literature review and the proposal into one document, because often in final essays you have a merging of the literature review and the argument section together, that this could be a way to try to develop it holistically, as well as connect them in a way that you might find more compelling. It's the first year I've done this. Well, let's see how it's gonna go. I have this due in week 8, which gives you a couple of extra weeks over the semester break to be able to do it, as well as potentially break my grading up, since I'll be grading all these assessments myself, and then the final essay. Given that the lectures are going to be online, I've tried to incorporate questions in the lectures to try to get you to think about the material, about the videos that we're going to watch interspersed with my own talking. And I wanted to make sure that students could potentially get credit for responding to those questions. Students have spent a great amount of time and length responding thoughtfully to the questions that I included in the lectures, which was kind of my way of taking that discussion in the workshops in person and to be able to apply it to the online format. So I wanted to make sure to give credit where credit is due if students are interested in doing that overall above and beyond the workshop mark. So I've added 5% for lecture questions in options 3 and 4 if you're interested in going that way. I'll give you until week 11 to really make a choice about whether you want to incorporate the lecture questions, and then I'll give you until week 6 to decide for the literature review and the proposal. I can see now that I made the mistake, and option 4 should be that merging of the literature review and proposal in the same way that it is for the option number 2. So hopefully this gives a bit of flexibility while maintaining that really systematic, in-depth research focus that we're going to be having in this class. I know that there are 156 unique circumstances in the class. You all have your own lives, your own unique challenges, work schedules, other classes that you're taking. Some people by now in the second and third year are great in actually developing a formal EAP process for those of you who might need additional help, support, or time for assessments. If you haven't gone in and spoken to that office, now would be a great time to do so, because they can take time to actually process new applications. But even if you don't have an EAP, I understand the unique situation that we're living in right now. So if you have any questions or concerns, or you want to talk through how you're progressing in the class, please reach out to me as soon as possible, because I don't automatically get those EAPs forwarded to me like I used to do in previous years. Students do need to forward them to me, and then I file them in my own file system. Lastly, I really enjoyed the responses that the students who submitted my initial survey from my video from last week. Thank you for all of you who have completed it. A couple of additional questions that I had just related to this new workshop format. I put in a second survey. I'll put the link here in the slides as well as on Waddle as soon as I'm done doing this. And I do take all of your comments and questions seriously, including this one I think is great from last week. While these answers may seem sardonic, cruel, and even blasé, I make them because I'm tired of giving false answers in a pretense of nicety and then being disappointed by the teaching methods. There is in society the necessity to maintain a certain decorum and relations between people. That's what is essential in modern life and in past life. However, I am sincere in trying to adapt my teaching methods to students. I have high standards, and in marking the essays and in the participation and in the workshops, I do this because I enjoy it, not because I need to do any of this, because I really think the subject matter is important, as we're going to talk about in subsequent weeks. I want to make sure that you reach your own conclusions, but dive into this pool of research and knowledge and cases that is just the tip of the iceberg that we could cover. This is my take on the particular topic. There are a lot of other takes on the literature, on the cases that you could choose, etc. But I really do want students to give honest, constructive feedback and answers in the survey. I also will have a poll everywhere, poll online, so students can always provide questions in that. I found that useful because that gives other students the opportunity to thumbs up and thumbs down issues. If you have any question or concern or seem blasé or disenchanted with the teaching methods, I'm sure there's a lot of other students who will have the same issues. I am human, I'm trying my best, and I want to do better. I won a teaching award for the last time I taught this class, so I don't have to worry about trying to get a teaching award this time, but I do want to make the most out of this class, both for this class at the ANU and also because I will be uploading the videos that I create to YouTube for anyone out there that might benefit or find the subject matter interesting. I've been surprised with their feedback I've gotten so far, as well as the number of other people that are interested in these topics that wouldn't have the chance to come here to Canberra to study it. And I think the Australian society is expecting academia more and more to be outward facing and engaging with the public, and so this is my small way of trying to do it. So anyway, please feel free to complete the surveys, email me any questions you have that might not apply to the surveys, and I look forward to seeing you either in person or online next week. See you then.